We're going to begin with Hurricane Helene bearing down on Florida right now, expected to hit the Panhandle area tonight as a powerful Category 3 storm with potentially catastrophic storm surge, flash flooding, damaging winds. We have team coverage in the storm zone for you, starting with Ginger in St. Petersburg. Good morning to you, Ginger.
Good morning to you, Robin. You know that the storm and the impacts go well beyond Florida, into Georgia, even North Carolina, which we'll get to. But you see I'm getting blasted here. That's Tampa Bay. I'm in St. Petersburg. The water with this offshore flow, because the storm is still 330 miles to my southwest, is pushing Tampa Bay onto land. We're going to see this throughout the day here, and then the big time, late tonight for a Category 3 landfall. We've got tornado watches already up, surge warnings all over. Catastrophic and unsurvivable are the words. It's going to be a wild 24 hours. This morning, Hurricane Helene taking aim at Florida. Forecast to make a landfall as a Category 3 in the Big Bend late tonight.
I got a bad feeling about this one.
At least 5 states declaring a state of emergency ahead of Helene's landfall.
And if it's right around Tallahassee, it very likely would be the worst hurricane that they have seen in recorded history.
Hurricane-force winds with power outages and trees down will stretch well into Georgia. Linemen even staging in Major League ballpark parking lots.
A mandatory evacuation has been ordered. Please leave this area.
Police patrolling, using loudspeakers to get their message out. At least 20 counties in Florida ordering mandatory evacuations.
Most of the models have this becoming a major hurricane. You have time to implement your plan so that you're prepared for this storm.
Firefighters racing to evacuate residents from this nursing and rehab center in Crawfordville. Others choosing to stay and ride out the storm, stocking up on supplies, ready for the worst.
We're gonna hunker down. I told the family if you need to come in, we all hunker down together and we make the best of it.
Across the state, businesses and most public county schools closing. The Tampa International Airport suspending all commercial and cargo operations. Crews rushing to build this 9-foot-high wall to protect the Tampa General Hospital. Right now, it's still Category 1. It is going to rapidly intensify today and head toward that Big Bend, Appalachia Bay. That's where that catastrophic and unsurvivable surge will be. But we've got a lot to happen before that goes out. So let's talk about the forecast. The cone, remember, is just where the center goes. So it can go on either side of that. On the western side, Tallahassee gets way worse winds. But either way, I would prepare for major tree damage. But wanted to show you also all of the impacts, right? The surge, 10 to 20 feet. That's 2 stories of water that would not be survivable, but it would not leave most of the types of structures that are there in Keaton Beach or, say, Cedar Key. You go anywhere back west to even St. Mark's, St. George Island. It's a real problem. So those warnings take you all the way into Macon, Georgia, and that's because wind is going to be a big issue. We're talking wind speeds that will be hurricane force to nearly Atlanta. Widespread power outages and trees down. Not going to be easy to go anywhere late tonight. And most importantly, when this thing wraps up over the Blue Ridge Mountains, drops even more rain, up to 18 inches total, Michael, we could see landslides in parts of western North Carolina, South Carolina, and eastern Tennessee. Northeast Georgia is going to be a mess.
Yeah, definitely dangerous conditions there, Ginger. You and your team, please stay safe. Thank you so much for that. And Tampa is bracing for storm surge as well. Whit Johnson is at a hospital there for us with the urgent preparation. Good morning, Whit.
Hey, Michael, good morning to you. And you can see some of this early rainfall coming through associated with this storm. So much of this city surrounded by water, making it extremely vulnerable to flooding. We're expecting a storm surge of 4 to 8 feet in this area alone. As you noted, we're outside Tampa General Hospital, and this hospital is expected to remain open throughout the course of this storm. And you can see these mobile barriers that they've installed here. This has become a new tool recently. It's called an aqua fence. Officials say it can withstand a storm surge of up to 15 feet above sea level. And you might remember back in August of 2023, Hurricane Idalia rolled through and caused significant flooding throughout the city. Flooding is always an issue here, even with a little bit of rain. So that's why officials are so concerned about this storm. And transportation, as Ginger noted, becoming increasingly difficult. The airport, Tampa International Airport, closing at 2 a.m. It's not expected to reopen until Friday. So officials are reminding people who need to evacuate, your time and options to get out are running out. Robin?
They really are. Okay, Whit, our thanks to you. Helene is the latest hurricane expected to rapidly intensify before making landfall. Sam is here with well, how climate change is really turbocharging these storms?
Robin, for about 30 years, guys, for about 30 years, we've been talking, I mean literally on this show, we've been talking about how rising oceans, warming oceans would make a difference in the problems with hurricanes. Let's show you how that's playing out here. So we've got two things that stand out to me. One of them is rapid intensification, and it is more likely now, by about it's about twice as likely now, that we'll see rapid intensification as it was 30 years ago. So what's going on? Warmer waters in the Gulf. We've got 2 to 5 degrees above normal water temperature there so far this year. And it doesn't seem like a lot in degrees, but it's a lot in water. And the stored heat in that much water, this is super deep water, is being fuel to the hurricanes. So if they rapidly intensify, jump categories 1, 2, 3 like that. And that's why you're seeing it now. And back in the day when I was standing here at the wall, we didn't see it very much. The other thing, this wall of water that moves on the coastline, so much more water here because there's actually 7 inches more water in the Gulf than there was just a few years ago. One thing I want to drive home is the end of this storm is just as important as the beginning. By the time we get to the weekend, the center of this storm is going to be in Kentucky and Tennessee. Ginger mentioned the flooding in the mountains of the Carolinas. That Kentucky and Tennessee flooding is bad as well.
Wow. Okay, Sam, thanks very much.